Okay, this is a fun one. You're going to laugh your ass off. So it's your buddy Anthony Fauci, and he's dealing with some fucking nut in the senator thing. And, I forget this guy's name, but I went and I watched a bunch of his videos on YouTube, and the guy is fucking insane. This is like how and why people would lose all faith in the government. Like
And this is a senator.
He's a fucking nut job. And like,
oh, God.
And not to get into types or whatever, but this is what we do see it looks like. Like if you let your brain go to rot brain, and this guy is, from what I can tell, I think he's EP. He's obviously EP because he's got the EP fears of the government's hiding missing information, and Anthony's hiding missing information, and he just looks like a fucking fool. But it's also like the sleep last thing, and we see with like now Anthony Fauci's sleep last. Now he's very calm.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't have the sleep last out of control type things. But we see like people with sleep last, if they don't get a hold of it, like Owen Cook, like as they get older,
it gets worse.
It gets worse. Watch the first few clips. He's gonna kind of slightly bother the other ladies. He's like asking them questions, and then they're like, actually, it's complicated. He's like, okay, so you obviously don't want to answer it because you're hiding shit. Moving on to the next. And the lady's like, that was fucking weird. I'll just let that go.
Yeah.
All right, so with all that loaded, get ready to throw something at the screen and watch this guy.
Okay.
The American people, my family, all of our families are struggling as this pandemic continues to drag on with no end in sight. The words I hear every day, multiple times each day, continue to resonate and echo in my mind as I sit here. Words like, I'm tired, confused, burnout, scared, and frustrated. The list goes on. But what's making the situation worse are the officials leading our nation's COVID response going on national television and contradicting each other. And of course, some Supreme Court justices are spreading misinformation as well. Dr. Walensky, this past week, you recommended asymptomatic people be able to return to work after 5 days. But Dr. Fauci ambiguously corrected you on national television and suggested folks needed a test before return. How does it make you feel when Dr. Fauci or someone like Justice Sotomayor upstages a previous statement or policies of yours, blatantly contradicts and undermines your guidance or offers false claims that cause more confusion for the American people?
There's the setup. So how does it make you feel to be with liars and contradictions? Like, because we live in a world with contradictions. Yes! This is a fast-moving thing. Wait, how did you get in here?
Thank you, Senator. I have the great honor of leading an agency of 12,000 public health servants in this country, and we work collaboratively with tens of thousands of public health officials around the country to provide guidance. I also get to work with a COVID-19 task force that is full of a multidisciplinary group of people with diverse expertise, from immunology to drug regulation to epidemiology. This science is moving really quickly, and I know you will appreciate that it's moving fast and it is changing, and it's our responsibility to convey that science.
So I'll move on.
There you go. See, that is the identity.
Oh my God.
You're not answering my question. I'll move on. She's like, I know you'll appreciate, I don't know, fucking science, moving, it's complicated.
This is the identity of somebody that does not use the scientific method to learn and update. He came here with an agenda based on fear.
The FDA has recently set up protocols for monoclonal antibodies and antiviral pharmaceuticals to be prioritized based upon race. Dr. Woodcock, has the CDC or FDA done a multiple regression analysis on race to see if indeed it's an independent factor for increased morbidity and mortality? And if it hasn't, don't you think zip code would actually be more predictive? Wouldn't it make sense to prioritize these antivirals and testing, for that matter, to senior citizens and those with significant comorbidities, regardless of race, especially if the multiple regression analysis proves my opinion?
What? Where'd he
Dr.
go?
Woodcock.
I know you're fucking tired of bullshit. You're twice this guy's age. You've seen it a million times. One thing I see, especially with the EPs that are sleep last, and it's really hit me when I was watching somebody on YouTube that's in the personality space. Now, I don't want to pick on anybody, but I can see the fucking crazy brain of like this explosion of crazy contradictions and out of control bullshit. And then you made me do that.
Yeah.
Like it made me think of like what you go through with masculine TE. It's like somebody in the other room said I'm not allowed. Like, nobody said that.
Yeah, I know.
That's coming from your brain again.
Oh, totally.
Or they're controlling me, the observer stuff. It's like, no. That's coming from you.
That's coming from you.
And so like seeing the EPs that are sleep last, there's like an explosion of chaos and contradictions and bullshit, and then they're just blaming, whatever is in fucking front of them.
What FDA did was to recommend that people at high risk would be candidates for these products.
Did you do a multi-regression analysis on this independent factor?
What?
We did not.
Okay.
We did not. We don't make those kind of recommendations. We make.
But you can do studies, right? The FDA and CDC can do studies to see if it's truly an independent factor, or if not, truly that the issue should be about your comorbidities and your age.
You're a liar.
So, Dr. Fauci, according to Forbes,
moving on, sleep last. Moving on. Thanks, Dr. Woodcock, who's now like, look, I'm gonna die in a few years. Like, you guys brought me in here for this. Like, what the fuck was that?
Dr. Fauci, according to Forbes, you have an annual salary in 2020 was $434,000. You oversee over $5 billion in federal research grants.
Fauci.
As the highest paid employee in the entire federal government, yes or no, would you be willing to submit to Congress and the
Yes or
public
no?
a financial disclosure that includes your past and current investments? After all, your colleague, Dr. Walensky, and every member of Congress submits a financial disclosure that includes their investments.
Fucking asshole.
Hey, you gotta hit the green button there, Fauci. You gotta.
I don't understand why you're asking me that question. My financial disclosure is public knowledge and has been so for the last 37 years or so, 35 years that I've been
The
director.
big tech giants are doing an incredible job of keeping it from
The
being
tech
public.
giants.
We'll continue to
What-
look for it. Where would we find it?
All you have to do is ask for
Missing.
it. You're so misinformed. It's extraordinary.
Why
All
am
you
I,
have to
why
do
am I
is ask for it.
misinformed? This is a huge issue. Wouldn't you agree with me
Oh,
that,
loaded.
that you see things before members of Congress would see them, so that there's an air of appearance that maybe
so
some
loaded.
shenanigans are going on? You know, I don't think that's. I assume that that's not the
Senator,
case. I
what are you
assume
talking
it's not
about?
the case.
My financial disclosures are public knowledge and have been so. You are getting amazingly wrong information.
It's missing. No, just because you can't find it doesn't mean anybody else has
Yeah.
that problem.
Well, I can't find it. Therefore, you work for the big tech companies, and don't you think? And then look at the explosion of drama. And I just have one. I love the subject line. Just a quick question.
Oh God, that's my favorite.
So
what are
I
you
cannot
talking
find them. Our office cannot find them. Where would they be if they're public knowledge? Where?
It is totally accessible to you if you want it.
For the public. Is it accessible
To the public. To the public.
Great. We look
Senator
forward
You
to
are
reviewing it.
totally incorrect.
Well, we look forward to
Marshall,
reviewing it.
Senator Marshall, Dr. Fauci has answered you. It is public information, and he's
Senator
happy
Marshall,
to
go
give it to you
home.
if you would ask. Senator Moran.
What a moron. Jesus Christ.
Did you hear?
Did he say Jesus Christ?
He said, "What a moron." Hidden agenda bullshit. So like this guy, that fucking senator, is such a great example of like, oh my fucking god, if you want an extreme version of like what not to let happen to yourself, that your
Right.
fears go out of control, you're just psychotically blaming little old lady double-masked Dr. Woodcock and Fauci because his payment receipts are missing. Fuck, dude.
No, so bad.